Bring it on. Want some, get some. Can I get a hell yeah?
Yes, I am a pirate.
You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything.
It's a pirate's life for me.
Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're pirates.
It is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
We will get them on. I can promise you that.
Pen and purple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down to my soul. And I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome in to Sunday nights and the Sports Objective here. Lots to talk about and a long way to go and a short time to get there. Let's bring in all the way from LaGrange. It's Kyle from LaGrange. Bob, how are you, sir?
Eastbound and down. Watch your bandit run. What's going on, guys? So we sit here on a Sunday night. Pirates with a big win in hoops yesterday over the Shockers of Wichita State on the last second three. Got some things to talk about with the transfer portal, new DB's coach hired, and we'll also unfortunately touch on a little NFL. Speaking of NFL, we got a guy who loves to slap guys on the ass, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the suburbs of Richmond. It's the head coach of Northeast Academy, Mr. Stevie Fly.
You're gonna have people really believe. Well, that might be a good thing if people think I live in Virginia. But anyway, what's up, guys? Glad to be back here this week. Yeah, watching a playoff game right now as we speak. Looks like Buffalo kicks a field goal. They're up 5 now, about 12 minutes left. So, go Buffalo, go Bills.
I wonder why you'd be pulling for the Bills. I have no idea.
Because the Ravens are absolutely horrible, scum, whatever you want to. The only Keaton Mitchell, I'm sorry you have to wear that uniform every week. After wearing a Pirate uniform, that's a disgrace to you. Yeah, what else can I say? Anybody else? Anything else that you want to hear?
Yeah, so Keaton Mitchell's dad, played for Baltimore also, so he's kind of like a legacy. Yeah.
All right.
And,
well, was that? Well, I guess that would have been the Ravens too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, it was the Colts. His dad's 78.
I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because, let's see, the Colts left at what, 86? 84?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's kind of impossible unless Keaton was the baby of a very large family.
Yeah. Anyway, we're all
maybe I don't have an NFL team, and you're Dave. You're a Commanders Redskins fan. Stevie is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. The Panthers always just blow. So Baltimore's just up the road. It's we just came from that area. The Annapolis has as much as I hate the Naval Academy, with all due respect to the men and women that serve. I have a warm spot in my heart now for Annapolis, Maryland. So it's just down the road from Baltimore. I've spent time in Baltimore in the Harbor District. So, maybe I'll adopt the Ravens. Keaton Mitchell plays for them.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you one thing. This has been a great football year for me because the Pirates won over NC State, and now my Redskins are in the NFC Championship game. If you told me that at the beginning of the year, especially how the Pirates played, I would have said, yeah, you're dreaming. But here we are, and they have to play the Eagles next week. Anything can happen, but if they beat the Eagles, then they punched their ticket to Super Bowl 56. I was 18 years old the last time they were in the NFC Championship game, and the same if they win that game and go to the Super Bowl. So hey,
The last time they were in the Super Bowl was against the Bills, right?
Yeah.
it could be. There's a lot of. That's what's so funny. There's a lot of scenarios that could play out, and one of them is a rematch between the Redskins and the Bills, and it could be revenge for the Bills as they've never won a Super Bowl, and Washington beat them in January of '92. It was
beat the bricks off of them.
Yeah,
January of '92, and oddly enough, January of '92 is when the Pirates beat NC State in the Peach Bowl.
That's correct. That's
correct.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Well, now I don't know. A little bit of
A national championship games tomorrow night, by the way, y'all. We were sitting here talking about all
I
this
mean,
stuff. We're forgetting about Ohio State and Notre Dame tomorrow night for the national championship game.
Yeah, we're talking about that. Yeah, my daughter right now wants to go to
Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't understand that. She's going to be a Pirate.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, do you guys realize now that Washington's gone to a championship game, who is the longest drought going to a conference championship game now? I know Kyle doesn't know. Kyle's over there going, "Oh."
We played the Lions in '90. That's who we beat to go to Minneapolis to play the Bills.
Right. Yeah. Johnny Robinson got it right.
Miami Dolphins is going to be my guess.
The Dallas Cowboys. It went 95. The last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl was on VHS. So, didn't even have DVDs then.
Well,
true.
Yeah.
Guys, before we get into the Pirates and we're talking NFL National Championship game tomorrow night, Ohio State, Notre Dame, who do you guys like? I like Ohio State to win it, but I'm kind of, rooting for Notre Dame. I think it would I like Coach Freeman as a person. He seems like a good man. I think it would be kind of an interesting story for him to be the first black man to win a FBS national championship on Martin Luther King Day. It would kind of be a poetic story. I'm not a big Ohio State fan, not a big Coach Day fan. So I'll be rooting for Notre Dame, but I like the Buckeyes to win it. But I'll be pulling for Notre Dame.
Hey, Stevie, Kyle, think about this. So what is the worst scenario for Ryan Day? You get your butt beat by Michigan when you should have beat them, right? And then you're plowing your way through the tournament for a national championship. And then, oh my God, you lose to Notre Dame and you spent $20 million on a roster and you can't beat Notre Dame. Not that I have anything against Notre Dame, but that would be, you want to talk about Ohio State and Buckeye Nation. Wow. You can't beat Michigan, even on the year you should have, and you're the favorite to win the national championship. I'm telling you, for Ryan Day's sake, I hope they win. I'm not Ohio State. I have nothing. I don't really care either way. But Notre Dame hasn't won a title since I was in high school in 1988. It's 2015 for Ohio State. So if you're going for kind of the underdog on who's, speaking of droughts, Lou Holtz was the coach the last time they won a national championship. So, and Marcus Freeman is a really good guy, and that would be very historic, obviously, and so that would be kind of cool. But with all said and done, I do believe Ohio State is the better team, and I think Stevie and Kyle, to me, the line, the offensive and defensive lines of Ohio State versus Notre Dame, it's no question who has more talent.
I'm the same way. I think Ohio State, I'm not pulling for Ohio State by any means because I have nothing for Ohio State. I'm sorry, Ohio State fans, but I definitely think they're playing the best football right now. But any given night, anything can happen. It could be one of those nights where everything just goes right for Notre Dame and everything goes wrong for Ohio State. But yeah, Coach Day, I'm not a big fan of his. I think he's a crybaby. I mean, when things go his way, he's fine, but he gets out there and it's like he makes excuses a lot when they lose. But just go out there and say, the other team played better than we did that night. They were the better team, blah, blah. So,
Well,
Give y'all a little update on the Ravens game right now. So I say this about every year, and I really shouldn't say it because still 8 minutes left in the game. How you perform in the regular season is important, but when you get into crunch time in the playoffs, it's a different. You got to play at a different level. You gotta be some nights almost a perfect team. And years past, especially since Lamar Jackson has taken over as quarterback of the Ravens will get in a pressure situation, a pressure game, big game opportunity, and they blow it. Like right now, Jackson has turned the ball over, twice in the first half. And they just fumbled. Mark Andrews just fumbled on a drive. So now Buffalo's taking over up 5 with about 8 minutes left. That's what I'm talking about. Some of these people don't understand. Yeah, I don't like the Ravens, but I'm not so biased towards them that I don't see they're always a good regular season team. It's when they get to the playoffs. Look at the playoff record for the Ravens over the last 6-7 years.
They're 1-4.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You get to the big game, this pressure situation, and it's like it's gone.
Kyle's pulling for him now, so they're going to pull this one out, and they'll be taking on Patrick Mahomes.
Go Ravens, go. I don't.
Patrick Mahomes and the referee.
Quote the Ravens.
By the way, all those years that I talked junk about Brady getting the damn calls, Patrick Mahomes is good enough without the damn referees helping him. And I'm sorry.
I don't know if he is this year, Dave. I don't know if he is this year. You look at his performance this year. He's not a Pro Bowl quarterback. Look up his stats. His turnovers. I mean, he's thrown more interceptions this year than anything. He's not. I mean, now he makes things happen. I'll give him that. But flags make things happen too. At the most opportune time. Let's see. 2020. Well, he's 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Not bad, but it's not
having his best year. But but good teams find a way to win, and they're
exactly. The bad thing is they've only lost what, 2 games?
Yeah.
And they're not playing.
They didn't play their players the last regular season game.
Yeah, now you might as well say that was nothing but to get Cincinnati out of the playoffs.
A good point. But they anyway. But that really bothers me when it's in the same thing when we were growing up with Stevie and Kyle with Michael Jordan and Teddy Bruschi talked about that today. It's true. It's like he even said, his former teammate Tom Brady there's certain things like certain calls they're going to get because they're Tom Brady or Michael Jordan. And it bothers me that there was 2 calls in that game yesterday, and we're not going to die. There were horrible calls that are 15-yard penalties that were not. I mean, most of the time, I will say this: most of the time, I don't argue about calls in the NFL the way I'm really horrible with the college refs, but the NFL refs, man, just drive me crazy with roughing the passer and unnecessary roughness. I'm sorry, but it's funny because speaking of Lamar, I was taking up Lamar tonight, guys, in the first half. He gets knocked all the way out of bounds, and the guy tackles him out of bounds, and that's not a 15-yard penalty.
It's who you are, Dave. It's who you are. Lamar and it makes no sense because Lamar, I mean, he's a 2-time MVP.
Yeah, he should be getting the call. My point
he should be getting those calls like Mahomes does.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, I know Kyle's like, would you shut up about the NFL?
Yeah, I mean,
Kyle, the NFL,
the college football national championships tomorrow night, guys.
We're going to talk about both. I believe that the NFL playoffs, when you watch the playoffs, the games are just, I don't know, magical may be a strong word, but I love it. And I'm hoping that's segue into the college football playoff. I'm hoping that I'm wrong, and I'm hoping we'll talk about we'll make people wait for their predictions later in the show, but I have a feeling that it's not going to be close. I hope I'm wrong, but I think Ohio State's going to win big, and I'll give my prediction of the score later on. But
one thing we already know the score of is last night's basketball game as the Pirates go up to Wichita, Kansas, and pull off the shocker, if you will, as R.J. Felton wins it for the Pirates on the last second three. Guys, I admittedly have gotten a little disgusted with Pirate basketball. Did not watch the game last night, and of course, everybody starts texting, "We wanted on the buzzer. R.J. hits three to win it. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!" And I went back and obviously watched the ending of the game. And Dave, did you get a chance to watch the whole game? Talk more details about the game and leading up to RJ's shot at the end to win it.
Well, Johnny helped me with the stats because honestly, I've been watching NFL. I haven't looked at the stats close enough, but I will say that one of the things I noticed is that we played a lot better yesterday. In fact, 3-point shooting, I believe we were, 11 of 33? Is that right? Off the top of my head? I need to look at the stats more. I believe that's right. But we shot the ball three much, much better yesterday. And we played more. I guess what it comes down to is when, for me personally, what I will say is a general statement is we're expecting our team not to be competing for national championships of basketball, but we want them not to be embarrassing. We want them to be competitive. And I felt like with the last few games, including the Memphis game last Saturday, and then
the North Texas game was the outlier. That was the one that was disappointing because you go back to FAU, we were right there, should have won it at the end, at least tied it. You beat Temple at home. You go to Memphis, you play toe to toe with the top 20 team. Then you get North Texas at home, and you should win that game, and you lose. You go on the road and beat Wichita. So we played good basketball here recently, with the exception of that North Texas game. But I'm like you. I don't expect East Carolina to compete for national championships in basketball. But what I would like to see is a team that can go to the NIT, a team that can go to the CBI, a team that will make the dance. Maybe once every 10 years or so. That'd be nice. That's all we really want in basketball. Just in my opinion, obviously it would be great to be a national contender in basketball and compete for the tournament every year. But hell, really, all I want is something to entertain me after football season until baseball gets here. Something to capture my attention. And and a game like last night, maybe you can turn that into some momentum and ride it to some more wins. The season isn't over yet. But a great moment for R.J. Felton. I think him and CJ are both very good players. Walker, we don't have a lot of pieces around them, but it was Cam Hayes. He does some good things at times, but really happy for RJ for him to make that shot and have a moment like that as a Pirate.
No doubt. And we shot, thank you, Johnny, 11 for 23 from three. In fact, John White said we shot 47%. Help me out, JR and John, but I think that is if one not the best, it's one of the best 3-point shooting nights we've had this year. 47%. I mean, we're having like dismal 20-some% from three. So
so if you just below average shooting threes, I mean that's what I'm saying. If we had any semblance of offense, we would have been a pretty good basketball team this year because we hustle. We're decent on defense. We are awesome on the boards. So, whenever we can have any kind of semblance of offense, we can win some basketball games.
No doubt, including that in the A-10 when you have that win against former CAA foe George Mason. That was a really big game for us. So just consistency. In fact,
when we beat Mason early in the year, I thought we were going to have a decent season.
Yeah, huge discrepancy was rebounding 17 more for Wichita State. We've been doing well from that perspective. But here's another thing that you have to be careful about rebounding and not to downplay how important rebounding is. But a lot of times our rebounding stats, as Johnny probably will say, it's because we're missing a lot of shots and we're getting.
Yeah, good point.
But it is an important stat. In the last 4 games, CJ Walker is shooting 57.1% from the field, 87% from the free throw line, and 5 for 6 from 3-point range. So you're right. He and
RJ.
RJ.
They just need some help. They just need some help around them.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. I'm sorry, Kyle. I was just going to say there's talent on the team. It's a question of whether those guys will step up. And, I asked Coach about, I wasn't trying to be mean when I asked him about a few games ago about free throw shooting, but that is something that is imperative if we want to be competitive, if we want to be a contender. What I mean by contender is to have a chance to even win the American. Free throw shooting is it's like one of those things where we're talking about being competitive. Well, if you can make 2 or 3 more 3-pointers, right, and you can make most of your free throws, you win the game. And that's been the story of East Carolina over the last, going back even Dooley and Dooley 2.0 and in Mike Schwartz, is we've had a really difficult time at times of shooting 3-pointers and free throws. So hopefully.
And that's what this game, unfortunately, has become all about, is 3-pointers.
Yep.
At the pro and college level. And so you got to get some perimeter shooting going forward in recruiting, whether that's Schwartz or somebody else. We got to start being able to recruit some perimeter shooters.
Well, and that's Stevie, I was going to throw it to you. Stevie, how about all the times that you see guys when there's certain guys, no matter what conference over the years, and you see that guy and he's got the ball in his hands and he's playing against your team, you're scared because most likely he's going to make the shot. And and I remember one of my colleagues and mentors when I was teaching and coaching, he said one time, I'll never forget, he said, that guy, he was talking about a certain team and a particular guy. He said, when that guy gets the ball, he doesn't scare me. And that's the way that, if there's certain guys on our team that have the ball, they're going to have to get the confidence. The talent is not the issue. I think a lot of our problem this year has been lack of confidence. I think, guys, when you're baseball or same thing with basketball, the only way through a slump is to shoot your way through or hit your way through. If you stop shooting, if you stop swinging, you'll never hit, right? Or you'll never make a shot. So hopefully we'll see the second half of and I'll tell you another thing, in all defense of this team, going down the stretch of the schedule, and I'm not going to get into it because we have a lot to talk about, but going down to the stretch, I will say this, there is winnable games. And so what my hope is, Kyle, that we can take some of the games that we've been competitive and didn't make it. And on the second half of this season for conference play in the American, that we can start racking up some victories in the conference.
Yeah, well, I think for to keep his job, I think he's going to have to finish above 500. So we're going to need more performances like last night down the stretch. This is year 3 for him.
Yep.
So we need to see progress, and he's got the second half of the season to show that progress. And last night was a good start. Hopefully, it'll continue.
Look, I mean, their losses over the last what? Let's see, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Their last 4 out of the last 5 losses were by one by 4 points to Memphis, 2 points to Florida Atlantic, 6 to South Florida, and then 5 to Gardner Webb. So, they're in these games, but they just, like you said, they just need some help to come up and maybe somebody unexpected to be some help out there.
Yeah, there's no reason to be losing to Gardner Webb and North Texas when you go. Well, and no disrespect to North Texas's program, they were in the NIT finals, or did they win the damn NIT a couple years ago? I think one or the other. Somebody help me with that. They played for the NIT championship, or either won the damn thing. So better program than ours, but you can't be losing to Gardner Webb and then going toe to toe with Memphis and Wichita State.
Yep,
so
I agree with you.
No doubt, and we're going to keep our eyes on how they're going to do for the rest of the way. And right now, guys, they are 1 game over 500 at 10-9. And I said 14 wins for the season. and prove me wrong. I sound like Bubba with football, but prove me wrong because I want to see us win every damn game. That's that's
Yeah,
not.
well, no doubt. And, there's still a lot of time. Can we get to 17 wins? That would be, to
Oh
me,
yeah.
what Schwartz needs to do to keep his job.
John White said they did it in 23. Kyle, you're correct.
North Texas. Yeah, I thought so. So, yeah, good program, but still a
Yeah.
game at home that we should have won. There was some football news this week, guys. Back at the beginning of there's some that broke yesterday, and then some that broke at the beginning of the week. We had hired Coach Jones to be our cornerbacks coach for North Carolina. Things didn't pan out for whatever reason. Rumors are that he's taking a job at Alabama. That has not been announced officially yet. But we have a new cornerbacks coach, and his name is what's his name there, guys?
Aaron Williams.
Yeah, so Coach Williams from yeah, so y'all know his name. I know about him. Coach Williams from ODU was an assistant here at East Carolina on Mike Houston's staff, player development role. He left here, went to Richmond, where he was their secondaries coach and passing game defensive coordinator, was the official title there. Did a great job at Richmond in charge of their secondary. They had a top 20 defense one year when he was there and a top 15 passing defense at the FCS level the second year he was there. He took his talents in over to ODU, where he's been the last couple of years. Their secondary, has been nothing to write home about, but has been passable. I don't know what kind of talent he's had to work with there, but certainly as somebody they wanted to keep on their staff, they hadn't let him go. He did, like I said, a hell of a job at Richmond. Young guy, I like him. I like his personality. He's known as a good recruiter. Obviously knows the Virginia area very well. Is familiar with Coach Harrell, obviously from his time here before in a player development role. I think it's a decent hire. I think it's a good fit. I think lots of times that's overlooked when you're making hires or when you see a coach make a hire. Now you don't want to just go hire your buddies, but it does need to be a good fit. And this is a guy, like I said, who did a hell of a job at Richmond and was doing a good job at Old Dominion. So he comes on as our secondary coach. What do you guys think of the hire?
Yeah, everything you said is spot on, and I think if you want to hire your buddies, ask Scotty Moe how that happened. But it was year 3 before he finally got that. But anyway, for me, I think overall, I really believe that when you look at our schedule, go ahead and get your season tickets, folks. 1-800-DIAL-ECU, or you can go and to ecpirates.com anytime and get your tickets. It's a really good deal. I mean, by the way, if you don't think, I want to say this sidebar, because a lot of times I think that the administration thinks I just like to pile on and get ugly with them. But I was talking to a State fan last night that I know personally, and he told me that they are going up to something like, for his tickets, $450. Our tickets were around $300, and they're going up to $450. In addition to, you have to buy the if you don't have lifetime rights, you have to pay a fee for the seat fee or whatever that fee is. But anyway,
Well, we haven't seen our season ticket prices for this year. We do have BYU coming to town, which will be a hot ticket. You got Army, you got Memphis, I believe, is coming to town in conference. So there's some appealing games on this year's schedule. But still touching on Coach Williams. Any more thoughts on him specifically, Stevie?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good hire. You got some familiarity there with ECU and young guy. For some reason, I always like it when the young blood comes in because it's like it's a breath of fresh air. So I think it's a good hire there.
Well, I mean, I'll put it like it is. A lot of people don't want to say it, but you might as well say it is true. I think a young black coach is going to identify with players. Not that a white guy can't, and a lot of our players are white, but a lot of our players are black, the majority thereof. Controversial statement there, stating the fact, huh? So he should be able to identify with these guys, and it wasn't very long ago he was playing. So I like the hire, and I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully he'll mesh well with the rest of the staff and our new defensive coordinator from Auburn. Also on the football side, we brought in a couple of receivers. Let's talk about the kid from South Carolina first, Stevie, if you'll give me his name.
That is Peyton Mangrum.
Yeah, Peyton Mangrum from South Carolina. He is a senior. He was a walk-on at South Carolina initially, earned a scholarship. He's been on scholarship the last 3 years. Played in, I believe, 45 games during his time at South Carolina. Most of that was on special teams. Had played at receiver some. Was expected to have a bigger role this year. But played significantly against Old Dominion in game one. I believe it was Wofford he played against this year, and then he decided to redshirt so he could transfer out and play somewhere else where he could get more playing time. Also saw significant playing time in the bowl game. You can, if you guys remember the rules, you can redshirt up to 4 games and have an extra year of eligibility. Or play in 4 games and still redshirt. He had his redshirt year available, which he used this year. But had 6 catches during his time at South Carolina. 3 of those were this year. I believe I don't remember the games they occurred in, but obviously Old Dominion, Wofford, and then the bowl game, because I believe that's the 3 games he played in this year. But a kid that academic honor roll, all SEC academic team, locker room leader. From what I heard from Igo, he's a guy that was almost in the 2 deep on a consistent basis many times. A guy that probably will be a very consistent guy for us off the bench. Will probably see the field a lot, maybe even compete for some starting time. But a guy, kind of guy you want to have in your locker room. I think he kind of is what he is. I don't think he's, at this point in his career, the other kid from Penn State has the bigger upside, but I think he'll be able to come in and contribute right away. And I like the signing a lot. I was talking to Matt about it, and I was a little, and not that Matt was down on it, Semenza, but I like it a lot. I think the kid's going to be pretty good here. And again, been in that SEC weight room, knows what the standard is to work hard. And look, you don't come on as a walk on at an SEC school and earn a scholarship and stay there for 4 or 5 years if you're not contributing and busting your ass. So
Right.
he should be a good addition to the football team and somebody that I think will probably contribute significantly on the field next year.
No doubt, it's going to be great. I think you guys will see our offense for next year is going to be really good, and just praying for the defensive side of the ball. I think it'll be good. It'll be interesting to see how things go after spring ball, for sure. But I think things are looking great for me personally with my college team being East Carolina and with the Redskins. So for me personally, right now, the rumor I'm starting is Stevie Fly is going to be the next coach at Martin County High School. So that's
Oh my gosh.
I need.
How am I going to do that when I live in Richmond?
I don't know.
Steve, you got any thoughts on Peyton Magnum from South Carolina there?
Peyton, I'm like you, kind of agree totally. Being a walk on and staying there all 3 years, you just don't do that, especially at an SEC school. Just like you said,
And he earned a scholarship.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's contributed in some way to get that to happen. I think he's going to be a good addition. And coming up when we talk about the kid from Penn State next, I think these are 2 really good pickups right here.
No doubt. In fact, if you want to go ahead and talk about the Penn State kid, I don't know. I haven't heard his name, so help me out.
You want his name, Kyle?
Taylor Johnson.
Tyler
Johnson. Look, names are not my thing. Tyler Johnson from Penn State. He been there a couple years, has not seen. Well, he has seen the field, but has not had a reception, and has only had 1 target while he was on the field. Now, here's the thing about Penn State: they have elite talent.
Mm-hmm.
The kid is a burner, got 4.4 speed.
Yeah.
So he's a guy you'll probably see him. I mean, I would think you'll see him as outside receiver. We're good at outside receiver, first start, and you got Smith and Smith on, both on the outside. So he'll come in and probably rotate. I think he's going to be a little bit more of a project. I think he's got a very big upside, but I don't know that he'll come in and contribute as much from day one. But I do think his upside is huge with the kind of speed he has. Very talented kid, has seen the field quite a bit at Penn State, but like I said, no catches and only one target. But would expect him to do big things at East Carolina over his career.
Yeah, watching his high school highlights, you're right, Kyle. He's fast as lightning, and that's something you can't teach. They say it time and time again. Can't teach speed, and for whatever reason, he hadn't been targeted but one time at Penn State. I don't know what that is, but like it could be, like you say, Kyle, the elite talent that Penn State always has on that field. But man, this would be a huge, like you said, a huge upside for this guy. Just watching his highlights, if we can make something work with him.
Well, here's the thing. In this offense, how fast it goes, you get a guy with that kind of speed and defense gets tired, he's going to get behind somebody and burn their asses.
Yep.
So I think it's a really good fit for this offense.
No doubt. And again, our the great thing about with John David Baker's offense and the fact that a lot of those guys have stayed is the fact that we can, if there's a project player, if you will, I hate to use that term, but if there's a project player that you can.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd call him a project player, Dave.
Okay.
But hey, the kid from South Carolina's coming in with 1 year of eligibility left.
Right.
He is expected to contribute right away, and I think he will.
Right.
And I think this kid will also, Johnson. I think he'll contribute right away also, but I don't know that he'll be starting from day one. I wouldn't be surprised to see Peyton from South Carolina competing for a starting job in year one. I don't know that Johnson's going to, but he'll definitely see the field. And like I said, with that elite speed, you put him on the outside, deep balls, defense gets tired as we're going fast. He's going to burn somebody deep.
Well, so hopefully we'll see how that all pans out.
And really, by the way, our receivers coach does an excellent job. Not only developing receivers, he does an excellent job recruiting. He's somebody that we need to make sure we hang on to.
No doubt. Well, and that's one thing that we need to work on. I know we have like a pool for assistants, but hopefully we can continue to grow that. And also something you can hear me talk about all the time. I actually looked and I think I'm up to, $73 a month between NIL for just regular general NIL fund for Team Boneyard. And then I do the $23 a month for baseball only. Whatever you can give, please give to Pirates for Team Boneyard for the Pirates, because it's a really big deal. And you can go to teamboneyard.org, and that will help you out, especially when it comes to the Pirates. If we're going to be anything, that's what we're going to have to do. So
yeah, NIL is very important. Revenue sharing is coming along. The 2025 fiscal year starting in July, which will help things. But the collective is there, Team Boneyard. You can join for as little as $10 a month, or give a one-time donation, or give as much as you want. Give your whole paycheck if you want to. But we have several $100,000 left in the pool, from what I understand, and we'll have a better idea of what we'll be able to have for revenue sharing for the fall. We're going to pick up some guys, saving some money to pick up some guys in the spring, after spring ball, and to protect some guys that. We may have after spring ball, some of these Power 4 schools, they're also going to know what they're going to have for revenue sharing. And they're going to need a receiver, or need a quarterback, or need a DB. Not that we have a lot of depth there, and they may come targeting some of our guys. And so we got to have some money to make sure we can keep some of these guys around. And, I think there's going to be some pieces we're going to need to pick up. I think that's where you go to some SEC, some ACC schools, some guys that are going into their final year and want to play. And that's where we're going to grab some middle linebackers, or another defensive lineman, or some more secondary depth. So I think we're going to spend probably quite a bit of money after spring ball. So that's good that there are several $100,000 left in the NIL booty and keep adding to it. It's an interesting time in college athletics, man. It used to be, what you'd have is what you'd have, and now it's an ever changing, ever evolving world, and it's out of control. I think having two transfer portal periods is a little much. I know the coaches proposed to narrow it down to a 10-day window, starting in the 1st of January to enter the portal. I don't think they're going to get that, but I do think it's going to be moved to post bowl season. I think you may see a 10-day window then, and then maybe a 10-day window in the spring. But I'm torn on the spring portal window because I think it benefits us to a degree, us meaning East Carolina and other so-called Group of Five schools, because there are guys at Power Five schools that are going to realize after spring ball they're not going to see the field, and they're going to want to go somewhere they are as they go into their senior seasons. But also, you don't want to. Let's say, give an example. Let's say, Ole Miss. Let's say Ole Miss starting quarterback tears up his knee during spring ball, and suddenly they decide that they want Hauser. Then you're starting over. So I don't know, man. It's a weird time in college athletics, but one more piece of recruiting news. The number one junior college wide receiver in America is visiting East Carolina this weekend. I believe he was visiting yesterday or today. And he is signing on with the traditional signing date of February 5th. He is visiting Boise State after here. So that's going to be a tough team to beat out. Obviously, Boise is a team that competes for that playoff spot every year. But, hey, you know what? If you want to make the league at receiver, you can certainly do that from here. We've had many receivers make the NFL. You want to play in a fun offense. But, it's going to be tough to beat out Boise, but weather's a lot better here. I know he had to deal with a little bit of rain, but at least he had some decent temperatures as he visited this weekend. That's one thing we damn sure have over Boise.
No doubt. Yeah. And honestly, guys, I think, help me out, maybe both of you know the number, but speaking of NIL, I believe Boise was only at like the $3 million mark. So when it sounds
still twice as what we have. So
I know, but I'm just saying that it's definitely obtainable. We've got to get on the Kyle train and let's shift our focus now that we have the facilities more up to par, so to speak. Let's put all our money on NIL.
I agree. I think I've been saying that for years. You're wasting your time building facilities that nobody gives a damn about. Players want to get paid. But yeah, you're going to have to offer this kid some money. I mean, he is the number one JUCO receiver in America. You're going to have to offer him some money. And I think the way he played his cards, and I don't know, maybe there was some academic reasons he had to do it this way, but he's going to be this late in the game. He's one of the more high-profile recruits out there. And he, like I said, right now it's between us and Boise. I don't know if anybody else is really in on him, but from what I understand, it's between us and Boise, and we'll see what happens. I'll tell you what, Hauser, Boise was on him, and he chose to come here. So maybe we can do it again.
Yeah, sometimes obviously it's not all about money, I know, but Stevie, what are your thoughts on? I don't remember you talking about NIL. What are your thoughts on as far as how we're going about it?
Well, we came up with a great idea for a fundraiser for NIL earlier in the week. Kyle is going to go on Cameo and do cameos for do rants for people, and we're going to donate all that money to NIL. I guarantee we'd make a killing off of it.
Oh my, that's a great idea. I haven't even thought. I love Cameo, and I haven't thought about that. But
Kyle from LaGrange.
And let me tell you something,
baby. Just give y'all an update. Buffalo gets the win, 27-25. Just ended right then.
I called it. I knew that it would be a field goal or less. So
here's the thing, though.
Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna go ahead and touch on something here for the goofball comments here. If you listen to my comment and you took it any kind of offensive way, you can do two things. You can do two things. You ready? This is what you can do. You can get over it, or you can blow me, because you know how I meant the comment. You know I did not mean it in any kind of offensive way. So you're just trying to stir the pot, and that's all I got for you.
Well, that's why I deleted the comments, and we don't address trolls. So they are trolls. They're people that I even think they're people that like us that unfortunately drink a lot, and then they think it's funny to put comments up. So that's why we don't address it.
Alcoholism is a shame. It's a problem. It's a real problem.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, Stevie.
The Ravens were down 27-19, scored to get within 2, had to go for 2. And what are my top pressure situations? Mark Andrews drops a wide open 2-point conversion.
Oh,
yeah, he was falling backwards, but he was wide open and it hit him. You can't blame that on Lamar. It hit Mark Andrews right in the hands. He dropped it. So that's the way the Ravens season ends right there.
Well, you
the Raven, nevermore.
Yep, never more.
Hey, and just like with one of the players last night for the Texans said they were the better team than the Chiefs. The Chiefs actually have a chance to do something not even Tom Brady did, and that's do a three-peat. It's never happened in the history of the NFL. And you made a great point earlier, Stevie. There's a lot of these teams, and there's guys that are good quarterbacks, but there's a difference between good and great. And when you get to this level that you are right now, where you're basically NFC, AFC championship is knocking at the door, you're in the final four of the NFL playoffs, you're one step away from the Super Bowl. You got to find a way to make that happen. And, you can call me a homer or whatever, but no excuses when you have Jaden Daniels, a guy that doesn't know better, and the guy's making plays after play after play. And nobody gave him a chance, obviously. And here we are, we're the NFC Championship game. And after a while, you have to start asking, are these guys the right fit to get to that next level? I don't know, but I think he's now 1-5. That would be for Lamar Jackson. And he's a great quarterback. I don't want to sound
no doubt.
I enjoy watching him play. So if it sounds like I'm a hater, I'm not. But if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, and we know Stevie's not, Kyle is, and there's people out there like Kyle, Ravens fans, then they're ready to see that team take it to the next level. Like Derrick Henry is a perfect example of a guy that's been incredible this year. And there's a lot of great players on defense. But at the end of the day, hey, Kyle, do you remember the Fabulous Sports Babe? Y'all remember her?
Yeah, I do. I was reading here. We'll get to this in a minute. But yeah, I do remember the Fabulous Sports Babe. There was nothing fabulous or babe about her.
No. Her real name was Nancy, was her first name. But anyway, she said people would call in on Monday and complain about a game and everything, this, that, and the other. And she said, score more points. I'm going, is that the most obvious thing to say about a sports game? But in her defense, it's just that simple, and you can't make excuses of why you're not winning at that level. But anyway,
somebody asked, put the comment up on the stage. Somebody asked any of the coaches stopped by to see Stevie on their recruiting visits, or not recruiting visits, I'm sorry, but as they were going around meeting North Carolina high school coaches. Stevie, you want to tell that story?
Yeah, I did get unfortunately, I'm not what you would call a full-time coach. I'm a volunteer coach at Northeast. So
he's the head coach, but it's a volunteer position.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't get paid. I have a job and I have to put food on the table. So I did get a text week before last from the headmaster at Northeast that Coach Rico Zachary had stopped by. He was our representative in this area. He just wanted to stop by and make his presence known. I got to talk to him on the phone later that afternoon. He said, I just wanted to get around to all my schools because I'm representing this area now. So It made me feel good about it that he's paying attention to every school, even the 8-man schools, because you never know. I mean, what might pop out of an 8-man school? You look at gosh, what was the kid from that played in Dallas till he had the neck injuries? Played linebacker. Geez, what was his name? I know you know, Dave. He just retired.
But did he play 8-man football in high school?
He played 8-man football in high school. He was first round draft pick for the Cowboys.
Well, you need eyes and ears, and Stevie is a Pirate, and if there's nobody at Northeast, they play an 8-man schedule, play all over the eastern part of the state, and Coach Zachary stopping by. The first ever FBS coach Stevie has had stop by the high school there. So
definitely.
that says a lot about what this staff is doing in terms of high school recruiting. And it is the day and age of the portal. But look, you still got to recruit high schools, particularly at the so-called Group of 5 level. So I think that is a very big positive that no stone is being left unturned. They're making contacts everywhere, and there's no need not to. If you're recruiting areas northeastern North Carolina or eastern North Carolina, wherever coach's recruiting area is, there's no need to leave out of high school. And whether Stevie has somebody that he thinks is a Division I prospect or not, he may see somebody over at Columbia or Wayne Christian and say, hey, East Carolina, you need to take a look at this kid, because the 8-man front is not a heavily recruited area in high school football, and there could be a hidden gem out there. So I think that's great that, again, we're not leaving any stones unturned.
Yeah, and Justin said Damon Mags went down to Wayne Christian. So speaking of Wayne Christian,
there you go. So
they're making rounds.
Yeah, and I think that's I think that's something that is extremely important, is the 252. When you look at the 252, the 919, the 910, those area codes,
all the area codes of Eastern North Carolina, yes.
Right, and then 757, the Tidewater area has a ton of talent. We don't need to take that for granted, and there's a lot of kids that for those area codes that could make a huge difference. And I tell you what, guys, there was 60, as the voice of the Gators, Martin County High School, there's 67 players. And I know for a fact there's 3, maybe 4 guys on that roster that's being recruited Division I, and that's East Carolina, North Carolina State, North Carolina, Virginia. There's a handful of schools that these guys are looking for, and I'm hoping that Stevie will come to Martin County High School and take the job. But they're offering a $10,000 bonus, Stevie. But
$10,000 bonus.
Yeah. So if I'm putting it out there jokingly, I know Stevie doesn't want to take it, but we really do need a good coach that's willing to come in, and we've got talent, we have resources, we have everything.
Well, where did Martin County's coach go?
He went back closer to home. He's from the Wake County, Wake Forest area. So
did you reach out to Brandon? Is Brandon ready to take over the program yet?
Yes, I did. I have tried. Brandon Simmons wants to stay in the Wake County area, but Brandon is a dear friend of ours on the show and he's a great guy personally. He's really good as a coach, and I have tried privately and now publicly. I want him to take it, but I understand he wants to be in the Wake County area. So that's very cool. But anyway,
well, that's his decision. But at some point, hopefully, Coach Brandon Simmons will become a head coach, and maybe he's holding out for that opportunity in that Wake County area. But I don't know. I don't know. The easiest way to get what you want is to, I'm assuming he wants to become a head coach.
Yeah.
But you might want to leave, take a job somewhere else, and that'll open up an opportunity for you to come back. But Brandon will know when it's the right opportunity for him.
Right. And anyway, that I'm really happy that this coaching staff, it's been one of my pet peeves when it comes to football and basketball. There's basketball, for example, is just ridiculous that everybody says, well, Dave, it's not that easy. But basketball, if you look at the different schools in basketball in Pitt County alone, and Kyle's talked about Lenore County with Kinston.
Oh God, the Division One,
of talent.
the Division One basketball talent that comes out of Kinston,
Oh yeah.
is just it's mind boggling. You know, PBS or UNC TV, local PBS, did a documentary about it.
Yeah.
And just the amount of forget Division One talent, but then you look at the NBA and the professional players in general that have come out of Kinston. It is staggering. I bet you per capita, Kinston has produced more professional basketball players than anywhere else in the country per
And
capita.
such a small town compared to, I'm saying, you know, you would think.
Yeah, that's what I mean per capita. Yeah.
Yeah, when you think of basketball, you think about the big metro areas. But anyway, going back to football, I'm telling you guys, and Stevie, you know this.
Kind of like Clinton in football, the dark horse down there.
Clinton
I mean,
dark
good God.
horses.
Good
Duplin
God Almighty,
County,
the amount of Division One talent that comes out of Clinton, and you talk about a small town.
yeah. How about Duplin County with all those Duplin schools, Wallace Rose Hill,
Yeah.
North Duplin, all that. You talked about Clinton, all the way down there. There's a lot of talent in Fayetteville. You look at southeastern North Carolina, northeastern North Carolina, just the whole state of North Carolina, period, is extremely underrated. It used to be that everybody says, you know, Florida, Texas, California, but North Carolina, in case you haven't paid attention in the last 10 years, we're number 9 in population, and over the next handful of years, we'll be at number 8.
Well, Tennessee also. That's another
Yes.
thing where you know you didn't really think of Tennessee as a state in the South that produced a lot of Division One football talent, and that is changing. You know, Nashville's becoming the it city. So you got so many people moving to that area. So you know, population booms. North Carolina, and Tennessee, both. So you know, you're still going to have to get players out of high school. So whether they end up going to junior college first now, as we create a minor league system for college football, apparently, the high schools are still going to be the lifeblood for college sports. I mean, you know, these kids come out of high school at some point. So, you know, Georgia, Florida, Texas is always, you know, and along with Alabama, what you think of in California for Division One football talent. But North Carolina, Tennessee is certainly starting to be on the map more and more.
Yeah, and I still believe that there's going to be plenty of guys that, and I know we've talked about this, Kyle, and we'll add you in, Stevie, but when it comes to high schools, I'm happy to see, like Kyle was saying, that they're putting a huge emphasis on high school recruiting, because you can't just, another lost start, I think, is the JUCO circuit for sure. But anyway, I'm really happy because I think that we could steal some of these 4-star guys. They're getting left behind because they're like, no, we're going to take the transfer portal because a guy from there instead of you, because this guy is a proven talent. You have a lot of potential, but we're going this route. And we've made a living off a lot of guys that were 2- and 3-star guys. And next thing you know, if you got Blake Harrell having the guys that we normally get the traditional way with the high school recruiting, you have the transfer portal.
Yeah, and that's something else I want to point out about Coach Williams coming over from Old Dominion. You know, I've been at Old Dominion, been at Richmond. That's a place where you got to develop talent, and I like that because at East Carolina, even guys you get out of the portal. So we got an FCS All-American at corner right now from Western Carolina. Well, he's still going to have to take that step up to play at the FBS level. So he's still going to require a little bit of development. So I like that, you know, we hired a guy from somewhere that he's used to developing players like, you know, Richmond and ODU. That was a point I meant to make earlier about Coach Williams, and now was a good time to mention it.
No doubt. And let's do a few comments we have right here. A mixture of everything that we've talked about tonight. We have Jeff Collins says Ohio State has the better players, but Notre Dame has the better team. Irish by 7. Mark Dedrick, I didn't know this. Mark Yellock is unemployed.
Wow.
Did not know that. When we're talking about Kinston and basketball players, John White says that his favorite was Jerry Stackhouse.
Stack was great for the 76ers. Is he still the head coach at Vandy? I have no idea.
I don't think he. We'll have to double check. But anyway,
okay.
And let's see here. Yeah, Justin's agreeing with us amount of basketball guys in our area. And then he was talking about when I was talking about Duplin County. He said, you ain't lying. Wallace and Clinton, James Keenan.
Yeah, no, a lot of great talent out of Duplin County. Ain't nothing there to do besides play sports.
That's true in Duplin County and make wine, right? North Carolina produces 100 to 110 D1 players per year. Thank you, Robert. I did not know that. That's interesting.
I would actually think it would be higher than that, honestly. But I trust him. But I would think it would be even higher than that.
Yeah. And again, if you're a troll, we're going to just continue to delete comments. So you're wasting your time. Robert Dedrick says again, what do you think about our new strength coach?
That's something we haven't touched on. He was at App State for a long time. I have heard different things about him. He's an intense dude. I know that. I have not met him personally, but I do know he is a very intense guy from everything I've heard about him. I heard, some of the App State players when he was there had kind of a love-hate relationship with him, but he damn sure produced results during his time at App State. Then he went to Louisville with Satterfield. Ended up down at oh God, help me out, y'all. Georgia State. He ended up at Georgia State after Satterfield went to Cincinnati. He went to Georgia State. He didn't go to Cincy with Satterfield. And then when coach and Georgia State's head coach, cannot think of his name, longtime South Carolina assistant, had done a great job at Georgia State. And he decided to leave out of the blue and take an assistant coaching job in the SEC. At that point, he left and went to Rutgers and was assistant head strength coach at Rutgers. Has a great resume, is known for being a very intense guy, very attention to detail, very detail oriented, and has a good reputation in our game. I think he'll do a good job. I think he may be a little bit more regimented than Big John. I think Big John did a decent job, but I think he's going to be a little bit more strict. So might be a little bit of a shock to some of these a little bit of a shock to some of these guys, but reputation. And if you look at how good App was and how well conditioned they were when he was there, he did a hell of a job there. And again, did a good job when he was at Louisville with Satterfield, and did a good job the 1 year he was at Georgia State.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I trust Blake Harrell, and I'm just going to go with for like you said, Kyle. You made great points of his resume, so dude knows what he's doing. So we'll see how
and even as assistant head coach at Rutgers, look, man, Greg Schiano is all about some physicality. So he's not going to hire anybody there that isn't all about it. So no, it should be a good fit. The only thing I would say is maybe the player's going to have to get used to a personality adjustment that we're already here between him and John Williams, because I hear this dude is very, very intense. So like I said, I haven't met him personally, but that's what I hear him, and looking forward to having him on the podcast at some point.
Sounds very good. In fact, I like I said, we'll see. He has a great resume, so that's a good start. And Blake knows what he's doing, so we'll see. He said he was also at South Carolina Spurrier. Looks like.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know that, but that makes sense because when he didn't go with Satterfield to Cincinnati, he ended up at Georgia State, and their head coach. Because somebody help me out with that. He
Sean Elliott.
Yes, Coach Elliott. Sean Elliott was with Spurrier at South Carolina, and so that makes perfect sense that Sean Elliott would have hired him when he was available. And like I said, when Coach Elliott made the decision to leave Georgia State abruptly after having a great season in 23, just decided to leave and take an assistant coaching job in the SEC. The strength coach, whose name is escaping me, I know his resume, don't know his name. He again ended up at Rutgers on Satterfield on Greg Schiano's staff, and now is back in a head strength coaching role. And again, I think he'll do a great job.
No doubt. In fact, like I said, we'll the proof is in the pudding, as they say, and so we'll give him. This is the honeymoon period. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and happy to have a new strength and conditioning coach, and we'll see how it all plays out. But you want to win ball games, you win the ball games now, and the strength and conditioning coach, as we know over our program's history, plays an integral part of whether or not we win or lose on the field, and we'll see how that all plays out. But certainly, I'm glad to know that we have a strength and conditioning coach. I think we have all our coaching hires now. So now it'll be start of winter conditioning, and then it won't
Oh,
be.
he was one of the first hires made. We just
Yeah.
we just really, I think we talked about him when he was first hired
We
several
have.
weeks back, and we were asked about him again tonight, so we're talking about him again. One other thing I wanted to bring up. This Friday night, I believe that's 24th is the date of this
Yep.
Friday night, from 5:30 to 7 at Harvey Hall at the Murphy Center. There is a bowl celebration. You have to sign up to go. You'll receive your tickets via email this week. So if you've signed up, be looking for your tickets. If you haven't signed up, it's probably not too late to sign up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a bowl celebration from 5:30 to 7 at Harvey Hall at the Murphy Center. The team's going to be there. You'll be given a poster commemorating the bowl championship, the win over NC State. They'll be signing autographs. I don't know. Do you know anyone else on it in terms of band, cheerleaders, refreshments, etc.?
I haven't seen anything on that. I'm looking. There's some more notes I could say that for Kyle, for you, Kyle, as far as the Pirate Club email that we received. As far as that goes, it says all the tea is free, open to the public. You have to sign up. We talked about that. The let's see, autographs are from 5:30 to 6:30, followed by a brief program celebrating the team's accomplishments. And because space is limited, you need to sign up. And again, that's if I were going to do it, which I am. If you're going to do it, go ahead and sign up. If you're watching live here Sunday night streaming, or I would definitely do it early in the week, being Monday or Tuesday, and it may be too late now, but go ahead and do that because that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, Kyle, here's another big thing. And there's a couple more things I want to mention really fast for news and notes for the Pirate Club. On Wednesday night, the Lady Pirates basketball team, they're taking on Temple. And if you go there, the first 300 fans get a Pirate Club t-shirt. But also, here's another cool thing, Kyle. If you stay through halftime, they are going to give you 5 priority points. They've done that for a couple events already this year in the Olympic sports, if you will. And they're doing that, of course, again for women's basketball Wednesday night. And that game starts, I believe, at 6 o'clock. So I'll be there. And anyway, here we go. Let's see. A couple more things to mention, Kyle. Let's see. Renew your Pirate Club Impact Fund membership and make payments before or on Thursday, January 23rd, because you're going to get, double priority points for any amount paid towards your pledge. And those who've already renewed will automatically receive double points by any amount made before the 23rd. So this coming Thursday, you can call the Pirate Club number at 252-737-4540, or just log on to your online account, and that's ecupirateclub.com, and you can go in there and manage your account there. One more thing, Kyle, to mention is going on Saturday, and that is the Pirate Club Day of men's basketball. It's going to be at 1 o'clock. We're playing USF the Bulls. Tickets can be purchased online. The first 500 fans, Kyle, through the gates will receive a Pirate Club t-shirt, and Pirate Club recognitions will take place on the court throughout the game. Following the game, stick around. The ladies are playing the Lady Bulls at 4 o'clock. So a doubleheader on Saturday if you're looking for something to do with the family. But a lot going on this week, Kyle. So thanks for letting me spend the time on that. I wanted to mention that on tonight's show because by the time we are on our next show, all that stuff will already have taken place and it'll be outdated.
Yeah, no doubt. Pirate basketball midweek, like you said, or Saturday rather, like you said, and the party Friday night. Stevie, you got anything else?
I'm good, bud. I'm just I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting onslaughted by text about the about the game was just over. A lot of Ravens fans talking trash to me right now.
Why would they be talking trash? They lost.
Because he's
I
a Steelers
know.
fan, and the Steelers lost
Yeah.
last week, so it's
Yeah, because they're saying
so,
they've got further than us. But like I said, you'll be sitting there watching the Super Bowl with us, eating popcorn just like we will. So
well. One thing we can say for sure: the Steelers and Ravens are both a bunch of losers.
yep, this
Wow.
year at least.
Y'all are, Kyle, you made it to this week. So, as a Ravens fan, is that your new team out of 32? Is that who you're going with?
I don't have an NFL team. I couldn't care less. Could care less. Whatever the proper way to say that is. Not a NFL fan at all. It's nothing. I dive so hard into college football that I just don't have any interest in NFL, and I have trouble. I'm not emotionally invested, and I have trouble watching anything that I'm not emotionally invested in. I don't have an NFL team. Don't really follow NFL football much at all, which is insane. Because how much I love college football, you would at
I
least
know
think I would
that's.
follow NFL, casually, but I really don't follow it at all.
I think if you, Stevie, you're like me. You're
Well, I mean, I
diehard
used to
Steelers,
watch it back in the '90s, early 2000s. I just lost interest.
and you have for me, Redskins fans since the 70s.
Yeah,
How long have you been in the 70s for you? Right, with the Steelers.
78 when I was
Yeah.
5 years old. The rest of my
I voted
family
for-
were Redskin fans, and I decided to be the black sheep of the family and go with the Steelers.
Is
You can't say black sheep, Stevie. That's racist.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been 46, 40. Well, I'm not 46, but 46 years.
How can you be a fan for 46 years when you're only 36 years old, Stevie?
I know.
Math
It's
doesn't
amazing.
add it.
But somebody gave me a hard time not too long ago saying I shouldn't be a Pittsburgh fan when I've got a team in my state. I should be a Panthers fan.
Well, there wasn't a team in your state until you were in your 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the announcement. They made the announcement in 1993. I was 20 years old, and then the Panthers in the fall of '93, I think, and then they started in '95, and they played the first year at Clemson. Personally, I have nothing against the Panthers. I
don't either.
But I mean, I wish them well. Hope they do well. But when you have a team that you're passionate about, like Stevie, my God, I mean, back then. The Steelers were really, really good. 4 damn Super Bowls in the 70s.
4 in 6 years.
Yeah. So you can understand why, Stevie has that damn yellow towel, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, I got 3 of them.
I love it. I think it's funny. I have nothing against Steeler fans. So, but the steel curtain, I mean, there's a lot of, and another thing about the Steelers, I will say this. As far as the organization, man, you guys keep coaches. You don't get rid of coaches ever.
But right now everybody wants to.
I know. That. I know that.
I actually had a couple of teams want to trade for him.
Yeah, but anyway, then I know Kyle loves talking about NFL football. Look at the Raiders. They've had four coaches in what is it, 8 years? Stevie, help me out.
Gosh, yeah, there's something like that.
Yeah, and Kyle,
what about Cleveland? Cleveland Browns are worse.
I always say about the Browns that I feel sorry for their fans because
I don't.
No, they have. I know you don't, but I'm being fair here. That I will say that.
But you can't say Cleveland Browns. That's racist.
Oh God, here we go. The Cleveland Browns. I know that I understand the rivalry, Stevie. I'm just talking about your fan
And
base.
by the way, just for YouTube watchers later, there are comments that won't be documented, and I'm mostly ignoring them. I'm making a joke out of it now. But in the live chat here, that won't be archived on YouTube, there's some comments for people calling me a racist. So I'm having fun with it. So that way it'll make sense to people later that just won't think I'm out of my mind making comments.
You out of your mind? No.
No.
But no, Cleveland. What I was going to say quickly is that Cleveland. What I feel sorry for the fans is that with the fan base being so rabid like the Steelers, you would think that that it would be where they would be in, the playoffs. And they've had, Ernest Biner and a lot of those guys back in the day. They had a really good. They had a really good. Good. They've had some good teams in the past, but man, you look at here recently, they have player after player, and it's like players and coaches go there to die. Basically, it's sad that fan base. You would think that they would have a better product on the field, but with the dog pound and all that, but that's what makes a good rivalry. Stevie is.
I will give it to Cleveland fans. If you stuck with Cleveland all these years, after as many times as they've screwed up situations,
and for a while they didn't even have a team.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the way the Ravens.
They, the Deshaun Watson situation, that was stupid. And then, one thing I go back to, and I know we're not a NFL discussion podcast, but there was a quarterback in Cleveland named Bobby Hoyer. I think he went to Ohio State. I may be wrong, but he had them like midway through the season. They were like tied for first in their division. He had one bad game against Cincinnati, and guess who's sitting in the wings waiting? Johnny freaking Manziel. They put him in, and it went downhill from there. They benched that guy for one game because they wanted to put Manziel in there because they thought he would bring people in the seats. This is the Cleveland Browns we're talking about.
Yep.
But yeah, and then the whole Baker Mayfield thing, getting rid of Baker Mayfield after he played one season with not his throwing shoulder, but his opposite shoulder in a harness. He was out on the field wearing a harness, and then he didn't have a good season. We're getting rid of him. How's that worked out for you? How's that worked out for Baker Mayfield too?
Yep, and the same thing for the Panthers. They had him, and they also had Sam Darnold. And by the way, if you're, here's another fan base that deserves way better. We could do a podcast on Stevie sometime on fan bases across the board, professional, college, whatever. Fan bases that deserve better. The Minnesota Vikings fan base, I'm sorry for you. I feel sorry for you because you had Kirk Cousins, and now you have Sam Darnold. You were talking earlier, Stevie, in the podcast for the people just joining us about how you have teams that they're good during the regular season, but then when playoff time hits, and Kyle, I know you can attest to this even in college. There's some teams that they're built for the regular season, and you know how the mechanics of the regular season go.
Yeah.
But with the postseason, that's like the Wild Wild West. And I think, Stevie, comes down to like last night. Look how many, and I'm going to toot my
I think UVA, about postseason and, in a regular season in basketball. You look at UVA historically, always great in the regular season, always, worth a piss when it comes to the NCAA tournament time.
And Stevie, but that situation with the Vikings, they're another team that blows my mind. And I tell you, growing up, they're good, really good now. Obviously, getting ready to win maybe the third Super Bowl in a row, never been done before. Do you remember all those great teams, Stevie, in the '80s, '90s with the Chiefs, and they're the next best thing, and that's where the whole Sports Illustrated jinx started, where the Sports Illustrated folks pick them to win.
Oh, and
they would do, and they're like, okay, and I was like, wow, they're doing great, and then they get in the playoffs and lose in the first or second round.
Yep. But I mean, Minnesota, 0-4 in the Super Bowl. Buffalo 0-4 in the Super Bowl. It looks like Buffalo might have a chance to change that this year. Guys, I'm not sold on Sam Darnold. I mean, Sam Darnold everybody made him out to be, well, he's turned the corner, but he kind of regressed the last half of the year. So I don't know if people will be spending all that money on him right yet.
All right, Kyle, I know you're a non-NFL fan. You don't care. There's 4 teams left. You have Washington and Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. and you're going to have the Chiefs and the Bills in the AFC. Who do you? I just out of curiosity, as somebody, you'll probably get it right because you don't pay attention to it. Who do you like for going into next week? And I'm going to ask Stevie the same question, but I'm just curious.
Philadelphia, Buffalo.
Oh,
That's just off the top of my head. I'm not doing that to mess with you, Dave. That's just what came to mind. I mean, that's no knowledge at all of NFL football. That's like when you ask your wife to do a pick and then she gets it right and you don't. The same kind of thing. If that happens to happen, then it is just that happenstance.
All right, Stevie, who you got for the Super Bowl 56?
I'm going to go rematch like we talked about earlier. I'm going to Buffalo and Washington.
I was joking with a really good friend of mine is a Buffalo Bills fan, and I told him, to me, the perfect Super Bowl, if my team were not in it, is Buffalo against Detroit. Somebody's got to win, damn it.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, national championship tomorrow night, guys.
Okay, yeah, that was my last thing. Thank you, Kyle. My last thing, I'm going. So my pick really fast for football. I'm going Washington Bills in this rematch in Super Bowl 56 down in New Orleans. I'll take Buffalo to win it. I know I shouldn't go against my team, but that's what I think. Stevie, I'm going Kyle for I'll go with. So for me, I'm going. I know Buffalo. Listen to me. Notre Dame fans are going to hate me for this. I'm going Ohio State 42, and I'm going to say Notre Dame 17.
Woo!
I got to go.
I could see it happen.
I agree with Kyle. I very much agree with Kyle that it'd be kind of cool to see Marcus Freeman win, and they haven't won since 1988. The line play, I'll just say that again. The line play of the offense. Look at the offensive line and defensive line of Ohio State tomorrow night and Notre Dame, and tell me that I'm not crazy. But that's my pick. Who you got, Stevie, and then we'll get Kyle.
Yeah, I think it's going to. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be Ohio State. Not quite as bad as what you said, but maybe like a 35-24. Yeah, I really would like to see Notre Dame pull off the upset, but I just think Ohio State's got too much firepower for them.
Ohio State's a better team, but you know what? Hey, Marcus Freeman. I'd love to see him win a national championship because he's a good dude.
Yep.
What difference does it make? I don't have any money on the game. I'm certainly not an Ohio State fan. So I'll just pick the team I want to win. I'm going to go with Notre Dame just because I want them to win. Want to see Coach Freeman win a national championship, and Ohio State can. And I think probably everybody outside of Ohio is rooting for Notre Dame in this game, honestly, unless maybe you're just a Big Ten guy. But yeah, I hope the Irish get it done tomorrow night, and I'm not even Catholic.
Catholics versus convicts, right, Stevie?
Yep. Let's get the shirt.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kyle, I hope you're right. And then it'll be interesting to see how Ryan Day handles the backlash of losing to Michigan, and then you lose to Notre Dame, and not only that, but you lose the national championship. That's going to be very, very interesting to say the very least. Because, and remember the Jim Harbaugh guys, you remember this, and we'll get out of here. I know we're running long. Remember when Harbaugh couldn't beat Ohio State, and they were, my goodness, he couldn't win the big game and all that, and he finally won the national championship and did exactly what we thought. He's back with the Chargers, or went to the Chargers back in the NFL, I should say. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see. If I'm Ryan Day, you better win the damn national championship. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, guys, do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Sorry, Ravens fans. Sorry, not sorry.
Too soon.
No, it's not too soon. It'll live in their head as far as I'm concerned until the start of next season.
Cal, what you got?
Oh, to all the trolls, I got a show you don't, and to all my fans, I love you too.
it's that kind of night. The troll objective, I guess. But anyway, good luck. Good luck tomorrow night to both teams. Good luck to the AFC and NFC championship games. Obviously, I want my Redskins to win, and we'll see how the AFC championship game. I'd like to see the Bills in it, but we'll see how that all plays out. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a great week. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. And by the way, please don't buy all the milk and bread and eggs at the grocery store. I'd like to be able to get some more. I didn't do that this
Well,
weekend.
people have got to have milk sandwiches when it snows.
Yeah.
So
Milk sandwiches.
Good luck. Stay warm. And as always, go Pirates.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.